Welcome, everybody. Good evening to everybody. So, the last 2 days, we have been discussing about the Eightfold Path, and we discussed a little bit about the first two, and that is the right view and the right, whatever you call it, right thought. Today we come to the third, which is right speech. Now speech, as you know, is about communication, and it's a very important special quality that we human beings have, that we can speak. And it's wonderful. It's a very, very good and important thing that we have this special kind of whatever you call it, a gift or quality that we can speak. But it is also a responsibility, because if we do not use this special quality in a positive way, then we could also create problems, hurt, and lots of problems for ourselves and others too. So therefore, how we speak, how we communicate, how we use this special gift of speech in a good way, proper way, positive way, is regarded important. And therefore, we have to kind of take care of it, be mindful about it, and also, a little bit train ourselves in the right direction. It is sometimes said that the words that we speak do not have any edges or any blade or any kind of points that can cut things. But sometimes wrong word said can completely slash or completely injure somebody's heart completely. So therefore, it becomes important to be careful about our speech and take some notice and kind of develop certain positive qualities and certain positive habits how we use this speech. It is sometimes said that speech can be of, Nagarjuna used to say that speeches can be of 3 different kinds, like the nectar, or the honey, the flower, and the shit. but I'm told by some people that I should not use the word shit because that's a very bad word. I should use the word a little bit another way, another word, which is a little bit more respectful. Excrement, is it better or not? Anyway, it doesn't matter. Whatever word you use, it means the same thing. So he says that, the best kind of speech is like the honey, which is very sweet. The taste's very nice, very sweet, and also it's good for your health. So it's something that is nice to listen to, nice to hear, and also it does some good. It brings something beneficial and helpful for whoever is listening to it. That's the best kind of speech. Then the second kind of speech, he says, is like the flower. The flower is nice to look at. When you see a flower, usually you feel like smiling, and it's very nice. Although, it doesn't necessarily, give anything too much. You cannot eat it, or it doesn't have much more benefit, but it is very nice to look at. So therefore, if you use the speech in that way, that at least, it's nice to, and it's a very nice and friendly and something, something positive. But the worst kind of speech is like the shit, which is, which smells very bad and which cannot be eaten. And if even it comes nearby somebody, everybody will run away and, kind of put something on the, they don't want to go near it. And it's not good. It's harmful, and it's brings something distasteful, and so we should not try to, our speech, we should not use in such a way that it is, revulsive. It turns people off. It brings, negative feeling. It is not good for you or others. It's harmful. That kind of a speech is regarded as a negative thing. So therefore, I think it is more about, usually in the, in our usual life, nowadays, it seems people don't instruct too much how to speak in a good way and nice way and respectful way and kind way, because, it makes lots of difference. It makes lots of difference. Sometimes I feel that, what we have to say, it's not always what we say that is the most important thing, but how we say it, that sometimes makes it more, makes it more important, because, if you want to talk to somebody, and even if you have the best logic and most convincing kind of reasoning and everything, but if you say it in such a way that other person doesn't like you, or is annoyed, you can never convince that person. So even in the business world, I once read a book which was actually very nice. It was very useful. That book is called how to become richer quicker. You know, of course, like everybody else, I wanted to become richer quicker. I found this in the train station in India. And then I read that. And there's some very nice instructions. And one of the things they say was that when you talk to somebody, whether it's a client or somebody, you should start with the person with whom you are talking. Start to say yes, not start to say no, 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 but yes, 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 and then you can convince that person. So therefore it's a little bit like that. I think when you speak in a way that is coming from a kind of a friendly way, with a good motivation, with a kind of open state of mind, then I think most people would be able to listen to and would able to kind of respond in a more positive way. And also, you can become much more, friendly. And once, because most of our problems in the world are about the relationships. Enemies are created sometimes by how you say things. Lots of wars are fought because of somebody said something, in one way or another, hurt somebody's ego and things like that. So therefore, we need to a little bit watch what we are saying, how we are saying it, what kind of course, it goes back to, as we discussed, first our view, with what kind of a view we have about, I think everything starts with the view that, I wish well. I wish to see that, I am like anybody else. Everybody wants to be, well and, respected, and, everybody is same, like anybody that I am with or talking to or whoever is nothing too much different from myself. Whatever I want, they also want. However I wish, they also wish. That they wish well for themselves. They want to be happy. They want to have no problems. They want to have no difficulties, no obstacles. Nobody creating problems for them and things like that. So therefore, if we go with that kind of view that, this person whom I'm talking is like me, and, like one of my people, like my near and, like a friend of mine or whatever, then, that's the setting the right way of looking. That's, whatever I want to speak about or talk about or just chat or whatever, it's with the intention, of that kind, that, it's not that I'm somebody very high and very intelligent and then looking down on somebody, or, this kind of, harmful intention. And then on top of that, this is maybe the second one, like my mind, how is my thoughts going? How is my intentions and, motivations? Do I really, my motivation is to be nice and kind and helpful and, open-minded, or, just kind of pouring out all my emotions and, just working on my ego, like yesterday, somebody was saying, if somebody says something not so nice to me, then I understand that it's not good to reply in a negative way, but my ego takes over. And then, I reply in a very kind of angry way. I shout at them. And then we have a problem. Now, this is the understanding that, yes, we all have ego, everybody, samsaric people have lots of ego. And we cannot be without the ego so soon. Maybe one day, we all become great yogis, great bodhisattvas, and then have no ego. But still, at the moment, we have lots of ego. But that ego, I think we can think which is better for my ego, which is better for me. Is it better for me to create lots of enemies, or it is better for me to create lots of friends? Is it better that I bring more harmony, people around us, or bring more discord and lots of disturbance? Is it better that I try to maintain some kind of understanding and peace and workable relationship with people? I want to have a clash with people around me. Which is better for me, from the ego point of view. So if my ego says, it's better that I fight with everybody, I hurt everybody, I make lots of disturbance to everybody's mind, then I can do that. But does it really serve my purpose? Will I be, will I be better off that way or another way? When somebody says something not so nice to me, I shout at that person, and then I say, I have been so nice, I have been so brave, I have been so great. But is that really good? Is that really useful? Is that really kind of better for me, for tomorrow and for next days and for all that? And is it good that I make that kind of a personality in myself, that I am always shouting and, saying negative things and, fighting with people, or not? I think there is nobody who doesn't like that other people are kind to me. I like very much if people are kind to me. Everybody in the office you are working, in the society you are living, in the family with whom you live, in everywhere, I think everybody is similar. They like that, people are kind, people are friendly. And to make friends, I think speech is one of the most important mediums. How you speak. It's not just speaking. It's not that you are talking too much, that you don't need to talk all the time. But whatever you say, we have to say it in such a nice, with a good intention and a nice way, so that people feel that they are like, they are kind and, friendly and supportive. And then, you become friends. Sometimes people ask me, I have no friends. I feel very lonely and I have no friends. How can I make friends? Why people don't become my friends? I think, of course, there is also, maybe there is lots of karmic thing also that, sometimes people have more friends, sometimes people have less friends and things like that. But I think a major part of it is how I am, I have to become a friend. How do I become a friend? I do something to help somebody. I say something nice to somebody, I become sympathetic to the people. I don't criticize them. I praise them. If they have some good qualities, I talk about that. Then they think I'm their friend, and I think they are my friend, and we become friends. So therefore, this is, I think, very important. I mean, all this is, of course, therefore, how my mind works, how my thoughts work, how my emotions work, is also very important in this. But then, how I use my speech is also very important. So therefore, that few kind of things that we talk about, which is a wrong way of speaking. First, we say is lying, is a negative speech. Lying means you say things that are not true. You say things which are, false. We try to cheat people. We try to mislead people. We try to give the wrong information. That's lying. Especially if I know that this is lying, because you don't need to lie unless you want to, you want to mislead people. You want to cheat people, then there is no reason why you should lie. So when somebody knows that I am lied, somebody has spoken to me with a lie, then you can hardly, believe anything that this person says afterwards. So therefore, sometimes we think that little bit lying is no problem, but it can create a very negative influence on yourself. It's even in the the folk tales of like what you call this, lots of short stories, Aesop's fables. It's even in the Aesop's fables, and it's in almost all folk tales. This kind of stories, how not good to tell lies, even for fun. There's also Tibetan story which is similar to Aesop's fables. This man was this young boy, he was looking after the sheep, and then he felt lonely, in the mountains, and so he shouted, wolf, wolf, and then everybody in the village, came to him because they thought, there's wolf and they have to, drive them away. And then first time everybody came, and second time only few people came, and third time when the wolf really came, then nobody came, and they, the wolf ate lots of sheep and killed lots of. So it's a little bit, it's like that. So, and it could have even worse consequences. So this, I think we all know, so it's not necessary, it's not good, it's not useful. It's as much as possible, we should not tell lies. That's the whole point. Unless it is for something really, to help lots of people, to save lots of people or something like that. Second is harsh words, they say, harsh words. Harsh words is regarded not positive. Harsh word means saying something that would hurt people. When you are angry, you say those, when you become angry, usually you say something that would hurt this person, even sometimes, even if it is not true. Sometimes even if it is true also, it could be true or partly true or a little bit true. But, if you say the harsh words, then it really, hurt people. And people sometimes never can forget these harsh words, even if it is, little bit that you said. That's like, something especially, like somebody very near to you, somebody, who expect lots of kind of kindness and love to you. If you say something that's hurting and harsh word, it can, it can really damage their, their heart and feel very bad, and sometimes do not forget. So therefore, we have to be very careful, because when you are, in it yourself, when I am myself a little bit, upset, or due to any other reason, tense, or overwhelmed, or disturbed, or sad, or then I say something very hurting to not only to those who are creating problem, but sometimes to the people who has nothing to do with it, like just next to me. And then I heard those people, and then, that's very bad. So therefore, this is something we need to be very careful, because, this happens, sometimes quite unknowingly also. And, sometimes, especially, I don't say that a woman don't get angry. Of course, they get angry too, but men usually, when they are a little bit hungry, they get angry, Women has to know this. I think they know it more or less. The men are very, their mood is in their stomach almost. So if they're hungry, they are angry. So therefore, like that. And then when you get hungry and you get angry, and then you get angry, you say lots of things which, you might, sometimes you don't even know what you are saying. And then, but it has it has done lots of damage, lots of hurt, and things like that. So these kind of things is very, very, very bad. It's harmful to the relationship. It's doing damage to the people. So, it's unnecessary also, because, we just keep quiet for some time. That mood or that anger or that disturbance would go away. And then, it's much easier to not to speak those words than to try to make up afterwards, and things like that. So therefore, harsh words never actually bring bring kind of good results. Same with the anger, like same with like anger. I didn't talk about this yesterday, but sometimes people say that anger is good, anger is useful, because it gives me power. They say like that. Without some anger, then there is no power, and then I cannot fight for the right, or I cannot fight against injustice and things like that. But if you really have to fight for the right and fight for the injustice, you have to be really patient. And, you cannot fight just with anger. You have to fight with the purpose. And that purpose has to be with compassion. That, yes, I want to bring justice. I want to bring something good for the people, those who are downtrodden, or those who are, terrorized, or those who are, met with injustice and things like that. And then, just shouting or just becoming angry, just, burning some things on the street, effigies or something, doesn't necessarily change things. We need to. So therefore, if we do it with compassion, then, anger is something that is, yes, it gives some energy, but energy is very short-lived. You are angry, and then, you say something or do something very, very kind of violently, and then it's finished. You are exhausted, anger is gone, energy is gone, you are totally tired. That doesn't work, Instead, if you do it with compassion, because if you do it with anger, then you are angry at somebody. So therefore, you hate that person. You don't like that person. You want to harm that person. And after some time, the anger will create a very negative atmosphere. You become that, that person who is doing injustice yourself. So therefore, it's not like, it really doesn't totally change the system. You become just. So therefore, even if you are successful, but if you do it with compassion, then you do it for a purpose. It's not to, to win, from, and, crash some people, or, get rid of some people. It's just to change the situation, make it better, things like that. So therefore, you are not against anybody, you are for everybody's. So therefore, it's sustaining, it's long term, but you need patience. And so in the same way, your speech is also like that. So therefore, harsh words, that's the second one. Instead of harsh words, you speak without having this kind of hurting or attacking or, too much like only criticizing things, but, with reason, trying to, say things in a way that is, good for everybody, things like that. The third is what we call divisive speech. This is very important, and sometimes we make that speech almost unintentionally, and without sometimes knowing that we are doing that. We say things that somebody said something against you, or somebody did something against, like that, and then we make friends divided. We make two kind of two not so friendly, make it less friendly, or more, more enemy or animosity, and we create kind of distance between people. We create what can you say, the doubts and suspicions between people, and this is very dangerous, because then we create lots of unhappy and very negative consequences sometimes. There's a story, a Jataka story, that once there was a lion, and this lion killed a buffalo and ate the buffalo, and the buffalo had a calf, just born, and then this calf buffalo followed the lion. So lion took that buffalo as her child, and then there was a calf, there was a lion cub. So this lion cub and the buffalo calf grew up together, and both of them regarded the lioness as their mother, and the mother treated them both equally, and they were like brothers and brothers, and they lived very, very nicely and very kindly and very friendly and very lovingly together. And because both of them were very strong, so no other animal could harm them or come near them, especially the jackals and the fox. They usually, fox always ate the remainders of the lion and things like that. But this, they couldn't come near, because there was this a strong buffalo, and they would, he would drive them away. So therefore they didn't, so the fox and the jackals were thinking what to do. And then one day, one of the fox kind of said, I will do something about this. And then when the lion was a little bit alone, she went and was lying very sadly nearby and shedding tears. And the lion looked at her and says, what is happening? Why are you so sad? You look so in a bad mood. He said, yes, I am very sad. I am really, really upset, and but I cannot tell you why. I cannot tell you. It's really, I shouldn't tell you. You will be angry and upset with me. You will kill me. And I said, no, I wouldn't kill you. Why should I kill you? You've been around me for a long time, and I wouldn't do anything. Tell me. He said, no, I can't tell you. It's so bad. I don't want to tell you. So, after lots of persuasion, then the fox said, well, I'm very worried about you. why are you so worried? He said, because your brother, the buffalo, is saying that, his mother was killed by your mother. And now it's time to take revenge. He wants to kill you. He said, no, that's not possible. He's my brother. And we are, so kind of loving, and we love each other so much. That's not possible. He said, yeah, I told you that. He wouldn't believe me. But if you don't believe me, you go. Next time when you go to, drink the water together, you look at him and you will see that he is actually, he would be just, being like this, and he would sharpen his horns, and he would, what can I say? He would hit the ground with his, and he will daily be very ready to attack and things like that. He would be very aggressive, and he would do like this. And then it's kind of maybe time that he will attack you. And then he went to the buffalo, and again he was, in the same way. He was very sad, and the buffalo said, what's wrong with you? He said, I'm so sad. I'm so bad. I feel very bad, and then again, after long persuasion, he said, well, your brother, the lion, is saying that, his mother killed your mother. Now it's time that I kill the buffalo too. So be careful. He says, it's not possible. He said, yes, you don't believe me, but you watch him when you go to the river together to drink. Then he will be roaring, and he will be making all this kind of gestures of about to attack, and that time he will attack you. So next time when they went to the river to drink water, they looked at each other, and they were doing the things like that, and they both kind of got very angry and attacked each other without any thinking, because they have been their mind had been poisoned. So they killed each other. So the fox ate both of them. So this kind of divisive speech is very dangerous. It's not only dangerous and bad and negative to talk, but also to listen. It's very very bad to listen to this kind of divisive speech, because people always tell, and sometimes they come as your friend and tell, and so this is divisive speech, and divisive speech is very, very harmful to tell, also harmful to listen to, actually. So this is another one. Then the fourth is what they call, sometimes we call it, what do we call it? I think chat. Gossip. I think sometimes people call it gossip, but what it really means is, spending time to say things, to speak, which is of no, it's not, which is not useful, which is not, giving any good or helpful information, but disturbed people's mind, you know. That is kind of gossip, that, oh, you know, all bad news, all kind of, you know, what can you say, all kind of, you know, half-true, untrue, you know, things about all, you know, somebody is doing something, somebody is supposed to have done something bad, some supposed to have something, said something wrong, you know, all these kind of things. And it doesn't bring any peace to the mind of the hearer. But actually, you know, disturbing and harmful, you know, like, I think this, you know, what Aristotle or Plato, is it Plato? That was, I think, very, very, very good, I think. Is maybe this is to do with also the other one, the divisive speech. But, you know, it is, there's a story, I think you heard about this, that once somebody came and started to tell him, you know, did you hear about this news? He said, you know, he said, what, wait, first, is it really true that you heard about? He said, I really don't know, because I just heard it, but I don't know whether it's true or not. Then he said, is it something good news? It's a good thing? He said, no, it's a bad news. It is not good thing. Then he said, then if I learn about this, is it something useful for me? He said, not really, you know, it's just news. And then says, why you want to tell me that? You know, it's not true. You don't know whether it's true or not. It's not nice. It's not good. It's a bad news, and you don't know that it doesn't help me, or it is no use for me. Then why you want to tell about that? You know, don't tell me this. You know, and this is called gossip. You know, you tell things that you don't know whether it's true or not. Yeah? Most probably it's not true. And then you tell things about all the bad things, you know, that doesn't help me at all by knowing about them, doesn't do any good to me, doesn't bring me peace, doesn't bring me, you know, happiness, doesn't bring me, you know, any good thing. And then, you know, it is totally useless for me to know about this, or, you know, it just disturbs my mind. So why should I listen to that? And why should I tell these things? I'm harming that person, disturbing his mind or her mind, and I'm wasting my time by saying all these things. And maybe I'm creating a kind of a disturbed and negative state of mind for both of us, you know. This kind of things is called gossip. So therefore, you know, it's really, I think, not good that we make this kind of gossip, and also, you know, not good even to listen to them, yeah, because then it disturbs everybody, and it's no use, and it's completely, you know, it's sometimes very harmful, you know. Instead, then, you know, you can tell something that is, you know, little bit nice to the person, you know. You can tell a very nice stories. There are lots of stories, nice stories in the world, you know, very good folk tales and other stories in every culture and things like that, you know. Sometimes you can learn a lot from them, so you can tell those stories. You can tell stories from your life, you can stories from others' lives, you can tell stories of great men and women, you know, and things like that. You can watch movies, you know, you can go to Netflix. I have become almost addict of Netflix, you know, but unluckily somehow here I didn't watch any, but in India, when I was in India, I was so much in Netflix. I was introduced by somebody. I don't know whether he was a friend or an enemy. And then, you know, I watched so much of Netflix. First, that was very good. I watched the life of Buddha. You know, how many of you watched the life of Buddha? And that was, you know, created by an Indian. He was actually, I think, the president of Mahabodhi Society for quite some time, I think. So, you know, there's this 52 episodes, I think, 52, wasn't it? Something like that. It's long, it's very, very long, but it's very, very nice, you know. I watched almost day and night, you know. It's very nice. It's also in, it's basically in Hindi, but it is translated into Tibetan, it's translated into Chinese. I don't know, it has English subtitles, maybe others also. It's wonderful. Then I watched all other things, which I don't want to tell you. I also watched The Crown, you know, the English Queen's life story, you know, which is also, actually, I was very happy. I thought before, you know, that the Queen has nothing to do, you know, the English Queen, you know, the kings and queens, they just like a figurehead. So they just enjoy themselves and have nothing to do. But it seems it's not exactly like that, you know. They have a lot to do, but they have to be so careful about so many things, you know. Every step has to, anyway, it was quite nice, actually. Anyway, that's beside the point, but you know, anyway, I'm not asked, you know, I don't, it's up to you whether you want to watch anything or not. Sometimes these entertaining things, I think it's not too bad, you know, it's better than making negative gossips all the time, I think. Anyway, so usually these are the four things. Usually they say that it's we have to be, you know, like aware of or careful about, you know, and then the opposite, you know, opposite of this, try to, you know, try to tell something that is truthful, something that is that would be useful and helpful to people. Try to, you know, speak with kind of with a sense of kindness, sense of, you know, sense of, you know, something that is nice, you know, that you wish well, you know, feeling of that, and things like that. You know, sometimes, you know, this is very, I think, we sometimes make like decisions too quickly, like, and this is bad, and he's bad, she's bad, you know, he doesn't like me, she doesn't like me, you know, and then we kind of we suspect, and the other suspects, and then we create a kind of a animosity or, suspicious relationship, and then, it grows, and then we become, I say something to criticize that person says something to criticize me, and then we become, enemies, and then it's very, it creates a very negative atmosphere for myself and others, but everybody. Instead, if I'm trying to be, even if somebody is not very nice and kind, that I try to be nice and kind, we can become friends again, I know a story, I think I told it maybe before many times, there was this, this story about, there are lots of stories about the mother-in-law and daughter-in-law, so there is the mother-in-law and daughter-in-law, and they were not friendly, the mother-in-law was not nice to the daughter-in-law, and daughter-in-law was very unhappy with the mother-in-law, and they were like, very bad relationship. But they had to live together because it's the same family. So one day, the daughter-in-law went home, and then she went to a doctor that she trusted very much, that she knew from her childhood. And then she told this doctor that, can you give me some poison? The doctor said, why do you need the poison? She said, I want to kill my mother-in-law because she is terrible and I cannot live with her, and she has to die. She's been very unkind and very bad. So I want to poison her. Then the doctor said, okay, I can give you a poison, but you have to be more careful. You have to be careful. You can't give her a poison that will make her die immediately, because then they will suspect you, because your relationship is not very good, everybody knows, so they will suspect you. So I'll give you a slow poison. So you should give this slow poison to her little by little, and meanwhile you should really act. You should act as if you are very kind and nice, you are friendly to her. Can you do it for some time? She said, yes, that I can do. So you go back and be very nice and kind, and keep on giving this poison that I give you. So she went back, and then she gave her the poison, but tried to smile and tried to say very nice words and things like that. And so slowly the mother-in-law became changed, and she became, very friendly to the daughter-in-law. And then, because the daughter-in-law was also nice and saying good things and behaving nicely, so she was very, very happy and influenced by that. And so they became very good friends. And then after some time, she came back. She came back to this doctor and said, can you do something? Can you give me some medicine that it reverses the effect of the poison that I gave my mother-in-law? She said, why? She said, I don't want to kill her anymore. She's actually a very good lady. When I was nice to her and I spoke nicely to her, she responded in the same way. And now she's the best mother-in-law I can ever, dream of. So I really, really do not want her to die. And I'm so sorry that I did this thing. I have stopped giving her the poison, but can you give me some medicine that could reverse the effect of the poison? Then the doctor said, are you really sure? I mean, that's not, usual. She said, yes, I'm 100% sure. I really, really don't want her to die because she is the best mother-in-law I could ever dream of. Then the doctor said, okay, in that case, then continue to give her this medicine I gave you, because it's not poison. It's just some vitamin. And it will not kill her, but actually is good for her health. So that's very good. Then it's no problem. It's like that, you know. So even if you start to do with the kind of acting way, if you do nice things, then people also respond to you. And then you actually become friends, you know, things like that. So, you know, nice, kind, you know, positive way and truthfully and with some, you know, the speech. And it's not necessary that you have to say everything. It's not necessary that you have to keep on talking all the time. You know, you have to give space to everybody and things like that. You know, they say, you know, speech is silver, but silence is golden. You know, too much speech is also not so good. So this kind of things, you know, and this is about discipline, you know, discipline of how you look, how you take care of, you know, how your mind is working or emotions are working. That is the last, you know, we talk about right thoughts, how your reactions, and then how you speak, how you speak, how do you speak, how you listen to speech and things like that also. So that's the third one. So I think I'll stop here. And any questions?
Good evening, Rinpoche.
Good evening.
Thank you so much for the teaching, and thank you for the Bodhicharya organization with all the technical help to make this happen. And I had a question regarding specifically about speech, and it's very similar to a question I asked you a couple of years ago, and I still am not getting it.
Okay.
Which in the world where we use like stories to teach and to help people understand, or to entertain, like a Netflix story or something, a lot of the components of the story might include people saying wrong things, people using wrong speech. And so I get a little bit confused, like, okay, what is a appropriate approach on the path when trying to tell a good story that might sound like gossip, that might sound like wrong speech, hurtful speech, because a portion of the story, a character in the story might indulge in that. And I'm always looking for a way to still be able to offer a story, but not harm people's minds by doing so. What are your thoughts on that?
I think, you know, I think in that kind of a story, or, you know, it should be like life, you know, like life has all those things, no, good things and bad things, and, you know, terrible things, and, you know, good positive things, and all these things, you know. So I think we should learn about life from these stories, you know. I'm very interested, you know, I used to be, I'm always, but even when I was very small, like, you know, 3 years old, 4 years old, I was so interested in, you know, kind of stories. And I used to, if anybody could tell me a story, I would follow them all day long, you know, and make them tell like 10 times every day and things like that. And so, lots of people told me lots of stories. And when I look back now, I feel that I learned a lot about life from these stories, so I don't think this is my personal feeling. I don't know it's right or wrong. That sometimes these days I feel that people try to tell stories, even stories like folk tale time of animal stories to children, make it less violent, less less negative, very mild, very, very mild. I don't like that. I think that's not right because, people even, when a child is born, people say they are brought by the crane. Everybody knows the child is not brought by the crane, even a 2-year-old child. I knew at that time when I was 2 years old. My mother gave birth to my brother, and I knew no crane brought her because I could see my mother had a big belly for so many months. So it's not coming from the crane. But people say these things, I don't know why they make such a lie. I think, it's very bad because then the children will stop believing anything the adults would tell them, I think. That's my personal view. I don't know, but, I think they should be told exactly how things happen. It's okay. So therefore, in the story, there would be good stories, the good people, bad people, good actions, bad actions. I think you should show them and tell them, but bad actions have bad results or bad effects, and good actions have good results. That should also be shown. What I don't like in the Western films is that they don't show like that. Bad actions have no bad results, but sometimes very good results. And good actions have no good result, but sometimes very bad results. In Indian films, like even in Bollywood, it's a little bit not like that. That's what I thought like that. But that's just my view, and I'm sure most people don't like that. But anyway.
Thank you. I will keep working on it.
Thank you. Norbu?
Hello again, Rinpoche. I have a question about the Jataka story.
Yeah.
Now, the fox who did the divisive speech, it turned out rather well for him, didn't it? It turned out very badly for the two brothers, but
Yeah.
for him, his plan worked and he got a nice meal.
Yes,
So,
yes.
So
Yes.
I'm not sure what the moral is here.
Yes.
I'm not saying that it's okay to use divisive speech in certain circumstances if you can gain from it. I'm sure is not the intention, but
well, you can you can focus on this. Intention of this story was I think to show that you should not listen to divisive speech. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yes, temporarily the what you call it, the fox got what she wanted. Yeah. But then I don't know what will happen afterwards. That's another story.
But couldn't it be misunderstood by some people?
Yes, it could be misunderstood. People always misunderstand because when you give an example, the example is usually given to show, to give one example, one aspect. It is not, the example cannot be taken as the truth for everything. Yeah, the fox, generally in the Indian mythology, you can say, fox is not regarded as very nice because it's he's kind of a little bit sly and things like that. And when you are like that, then nobody trusts you. So therefore, finally, it's not good for you.
Maybe the fox had a very bad rebirth.
That's another story. Thank you.
Hello, Rinpoche. Thanks for your
hello.
Thanks for your great teachings. I have some question because of speech. I'm a psychotherapist and I have to talk with many people.
Yes.
And so it's some kind of high responsibility for each word I have. But on some hand, I see on the other hand that the people are very interested in all this gossiping, Facebook and Twitter and whatever. And I'm not quite sure if somebody knows what is the outcome or the effect of it. And so somehow I think we are more and more in a kind of society of meanings and not of truth. So we just try to find out what others think all the time, and it's a kind of challenging and who has more meanings but not really truth and speaking truth. And so it's somehow not so easy to talk with people about this truth because they don't believe in that. They believe more in meanings and they like to have some kind of interest and some kind of self-experience by that. They take the meanings as truth and they have no idea about the negative effects and cause and effect of that. So my question is, what effects does it give? For instance, if we are using Facebook and all the things where we know the algorithms brings us to more aggression, but we use it anyway. It brings us to more sexual abuse, but we use it anyway, and things like that. So it's a big industry behind, and we know that, but we use it, and we are interested more and more in it. I can see my clients in the hospital. 10 years ago, the people were speaking a lot and laughing and playing and whatever. Now everybody is behind his iPhone or whatever, and looking to Twitter and looking for the next message and for the next bullshit.
Yes.
So I don't know how to deal with that when I try to declare something or I try to make them more aware what they do. There is no interest in it because they have another impact and they have much more self-experience and how they say they feel well with it to be important or to be something seen, or they gives themselves something what I cannot understand. So I don't know how you think about that.
Yeah, I think it's the same way. It's like that. It's there's people are this media, the new kind of mass media is very powerful media, and people are always on that. People are there's an Indian kind of a comedy man. He says that nowadays the media is so strong that everybody is always kind of communicating with everybody all over the world. But they are not talking to the next person sitting next to you, or talking among the among your family members. Even during the meals, they are sitting together, but nobody is talking to each other. They are all looking on their phones. So it's a little bit like that, which is not so healthy, but this is something that of course this media has very good sides also. It's all about how we use it. It's not that media is bad. We can't really blame the technology. We should it's how we use it. If we use it in a good way, it's very good. If we use it in a not so good way, it's not good. And if we use it in a bad way, it can be very bad. So I think it is, I think we can also, like, I sometimes receive very nice things on Facebook, like nice stories, nice, examples, nice teachings also, which is very inspiring, sometimes very good. And I try to share them. I don't know how many people are looking at them, but some people are. And this, I think, is good. Then we should all try to share nice stories, positive, news, and inspiring kind of sayings and things like that. Speeches, whatever. And then that, and more people use that, maybe it will have some effect on that also. But we cannot, of course, stop anybody doing whatever they want. But, there's always many different worlds around, people who are in that kind of a world where they use all kind of negative things. They are always there, even when there is no internet, that community is always there, so now also, but now anybody can access to that maybe. But I think it's not that we have to be completely, feel, what can you say? It's useless to feel, what can you say? Feel hopeless and difficult, like, yeah, there's so many, negative things on the internet. There's all bad things happening. So it's very bad. It's not like that. I think that should not be the case. They are there, they have been there, they will be there. The negative things, the majority of things that are happening in the world is not necessarily positive, but negative. That's okay. I mean, that's not okay, but that's how that is. So, what we can do is try to, take whatever good things from there and use it in a good way, and, promote positive things. I believe in that. I've not closed any of my, Facebooks or internet, medias or anything like that. I just, what I want to see, I see. What I don't want to see, I just don't see. And I don't know, whatever is there. So it's like that. It's so strong now, this media and things like that, so strong. Sometimes I have a feeling that they know what I'm thinking.
They do.
Yes.
In fact, they do.
Recently, I was, what was it? I went for a checkup. And, and then I saw I saw different doctors, but I saw a urologist also, and things like that. I had no problem, but just for checkup. And then from next day, I get so many emails and so many about what to do if you have problems with your prostate and things like that, like as if I've been asking for it's just like that. I didn't tell anybody. I just maybe when my friend got appointment with the doctor, maybe the doctor's report maybe, or doctors maybe, but nothing else. But so it's like people know what is happening all the time. But that's okay. Yeah, it's like that.
Okay, thank you, Rinpoche.
Thank you. Hello.
Hi, Rinpoche.
Yes.
How are you?
I'm okay, thank you.
I have a question about decisive speech.
Okay.
And so I'm involved in a group where there's 3 of us, and I have difficulty communicating with one of the parties.
Okay.
And I try my best to make it, to try and keep it harmonious, but it usually it becomes unharmonious.
Okay.
And I think it's the other person's behavior more than mine.
Yeah.
And so then
maybe he thinks it's yours.
he does. Yeah, of course he does. Yeah. So the whole harmony of the group can get disrupted. And then when I'm talking to the other person, I'm trying to say, well, listen, this is what I did, and this is how we behaved. And it's kind of hoping that we can not end up in disharmony, but it's like, when is that decisive speech, or when is there a situation where in a group of 3 to actually try and look at the behavior of one person with the other person, I suppose, where it's not splitting it, but it's trying to discern the truth in the situation. Does that make sense? I don't know if I should just not involve the third person in any way at all. Because if I was to do that, then that's decisive speech. That's the question. Or is there a time when it's okay to kind of?
Actually, it's not decisive speech. It's a divisive speech I was talking about. Divisive.
Yeah, divisive. Yeah. Sorry, divisive. That's what I meant. Sorry, I was just getting confused there. Yeah, where it's dividing.
Yeah. I don't have any I don't have a sure kind of solution for your problem, but usually, I think it is sometimes it is very important to agree. Agree. Maybe you can be the first one to agree to something that your person who doesn't agree with you all the time. Sometimes people have this thing that I like, say, like I like yellow, and then you like green, and so I say you have this green, yellow color, and you say no, it has to be green color. And actually, it doesn't really matter too much whether it's yellow or green. But because you don't agree with me about green, then next time there's something like you want to say yes, and he wants to say no, because last time you didn't allow me to have green colors, so now I will not allow you to say yes. to bring harmony, you have to bring some kind of a agreement to start with. Yeah, to have a start with a kind of trusting ground, to start with some kind of a, acceptance. Yeah, so whether it's 2 person or 3 person or 4 person or 5 persons, if everybody says my way is the only right way, you can never agree on anything. No, so you have to learn to accept others' views or others, because nobody can have the same, however close they are, you cannot have the same ideas about everything. So sometimes, you have to give in if it is not that important, and say yes. And, even if I don't like that too much, if it is not so, so wrong or bad, I say yes, then it's a, sometimes, especially, you have few people are working together, and then some person is taking, certain responsibilities and things like that. And then if he or she is doing something that's not totally what your way of thinking or doing is, but he or she is doing it, so you should allow them to do it. You can't be like giving the responsibility also, and then that they have to do everything as you want it. That's not possible. I think something like that. Understood what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I did have a question then when what you said was, so say you have an agreement, you both agree on something.
Yeah.
And then the person sort of doesn't adhere to the agreement, right? And then you're trying to say to the other person, well, listen, I agreed, but they've clearly broken the agreement and they're completely denying that they're breaking it. And so I'm trying to divide, in one sense, I'm trying to divide that person on my side to see the other person as the person who's not able to keep an agreement. So it is divisive. But is that wrong?
That's I don't know whether that's divisive or not. That's just like, you are trying to persuade somebody to agree with you.
Yeah.
So that's another matter. So
that's okay. That's not divisive. I'm not trying to.
No, you are not.
I suppose because if they're agreeing with me, then they're not. Then they're.
You have a disagreement with somebody, and then you are trying to another person to be on your side, and maybe you should. I don't know. I mean, why this person is not agreeing to what he agreed? Maybe it was not so clear in the beginning. Maybe that was the problem. I don't know. Or he's changed his mind or whatever.
Yeah, I don't know either. It's impossible, very hard to tell. But thank you very much for
things happen. These things happen. People change mind. People kind of misunderstand. People interpret in the different ways. Anything can be interpreted in different ways, and things like that. So it's not easy. We are living in samsara, very complicated. Yeah. Yes, okay. Right? You have something.
Thank you.
You have to turn off.
There we go. There we go. Thank you very much, Rinpoche, for being so accessible to us. My question is that we may be at the brink of a horrific war. What is the best attitude to the current situation in the Ukraine?
Well, I don't know. We can't do too much at the moment. I think we pray for peace and not to have it. And if I am also a little bit worried, but worrying doesn't help. So I think we just go on as normal. I think that's what we have to do, and do whatever positive things we can do. And if in case there is something that anybody can do about that, if somebody thinks that they can do something, then they should do that. Yeah. But most of us have to try to do practice and pray and hope that nothing too bad happens. And this is something that is the samsara is all about. It's one problem after another, one problem after another. There's not really any end to the problems and sufferings. So we should try to make the best of today and live today as kindly, as meaningfully, as positively, and as joyfully as possible. And then we don't know what will happen tomorrow, but then that time we have to face that also. Too much worrying doesn't help. So I think it's the same thing with whatever happens, whether it's war or whether it's pandemic or whether it's, any kind of things that, happens. So, like that.
Thank you very much, Rinpoche.
Lots of ups and downs and things like that. And hopefully things will be not so bad. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Rinpoche.
Thank you, and good night to everybody, and see you again tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good
night.
Bye-bye.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you very much.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Boa noite.
Bye-bye.
Boa noite a todos.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Gracias, Rinpoche.
Gracias,
Silvia.
gracias.
Obrigada.
Obrigada, Rinpoche.
Guten Appetit.
Bon appetit.
I had it at 6 o'clock.
Faz mal. Thank you, Rinpoche. Talk to you later.
Maybe I have a cake now.